Vroom, 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 vroom. What's going on, Slay Bays? It's your girl Ashley and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I really wanted to sit down and test out a bunch of different products from Makeup Revolution. Now, don't get me wrong, I've tried different products from the brand, but I really just wanted to dive deeper and try out a variety of different products. So that's what I'm gonna be doing in today's video. Now, this video isn't gonna be like a full face of Makeup Revolution because I couldn't find lip products and I also couldn't find like face powders or primers that I wanted to put on my face. But besides that, today's video is going to be very much affordable. So if you guys are excited for it, don't forget to press the subscribe button, click that bell so that way you guys are notified every time I upload, which is 2 times a week, every single week. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and y'all don't want to miss out. So with that, let's go ahead and get right into it. So I am going to start off with my brows today. I do have 2 different brow products. I have the Duo Brow Definer, and then I also have a brow pomade, both by Makeup Revolution. Now, typically I do like to go in with a brow pencil before I actually go in with a pomade, because sometimes I feel like I can get super carried away whenever I am using a brow pomade. So I'm going to start off with the Duo Brow Definer. I did pick mine up in the shade dark brown just because I do have pretty dark brown hair and I didn't want it to be too cool, but I also didn't want it to be too warm either. Now, this brow product does have 2 sides to it. It has the retractable brow pencil side, and then it also has a spoolie. Now, to touch, the spoolie is very sturdy, which is something that I do look for whenever I am picking up a brow pencil. So what I'm doing here is I'm just creating a line directly underneath my brow. I'm going to flip the product over and I'm just going to kind of comb through my brow hairs. I do really like the color of this brow product. Let me just say that. It's not too cool, but it's also not too warm either. It literally is the perfect shade for my hair color. I'm also going to take this brow pencil and draw a line directly above the brow to connect it with the line I created underneath the brow. Then with a spoolie, I'm just going to kind of comb through like so, just to make sure everything is nice and blended. I will definitely say my brows look extremely dark. Like, do I even need to go in with this pomade? Probably not. Okay, so as you can definitely see, my brow isn't anywhere near defined. Like, after using the spoolie, I kind of created very like feathered edges, and I definitely need to clean it up with a little bit of concealer. So I will be using the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Conceal and Contour Concealer. I am going to use the shade C6, and I'm going to take an M124 brush to just clean up directly underneath the brow, so that way they look a little bit more defined. I'm now going to move on over to using the brow pomade. I picked this up also in the shade dark brown. When you take it out, you do get the brow pomade in a little jar like this, and then you also get a little brush. Now, the brush has 2 sides to it. It has an angled side and it also has a rounded side. I'm going to be completely real with you guys. I'm probably going to toss this because this isn't something that I would actually use for my brow. I feel like the angled side is just a little bit too thick. I feel like something thinner would be a lot more efficient and practical for using a pomade in your brows. So I am just going to switch over to using this brush by Anastasia. This is the number 7 dual-ended brush, so it has an angle and then it also has a spoolie on one side. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of the dark brown pomade, and I'm actually going to use this in my brow to create thin hair-like strokes towards the very front. I'm also going to take a little bit of this pomade right here towards the very tail of my brow. Typically, I do like for my tail to be the most intense part of my brow, and then I'm just going to take my spoolie to feather and blend the pomade a little bit more. So right now, this is what my brows look like. I will definitely say they're not my favorite brow products. I really didn't like the Duo Brow Definer. If you guys like this at home, let me know down below in the comments. I felt like it was a little bit waxy and very hard to work with, but again, that is just my opinion. I'm now going to move on to priming my eyelids. I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Prime and Lock Long Wearing Eyeshadow Primer, and I'm going to put this all over my eyelids to prep them for eyeshadow application. Moving right along to the eyes, I want to use the Emily Edit palette. Now, I'm not going to use any crazy colors from this palette, so use whatever it is that you guys have at home. You can even use like a bronzer for this step. The first shade I'm going to use is called Midwest, and I am going to take that on an M441, and I'm going to rock this into my crease to act as a very nice light transitional color. You definitely don't want this to be too dark, so go in with a very light hand and blend from outer to inner corner. I'm just going to take a little bit more of this and pack it right here towards the very outer V. Now, I do want this to be a very subtle, very natural look, which is why I am going in with a shade called Midwest, because it is more of a lighter warm tone brown. So I'm just lightly patting this right here towards the very outer V area. Following that, I am going to go in with more of a cream eyeshadow, simply because I do want this look to look very glossy, very wet-like. So I'm going to use the Ultimate Eyes cream eye color in the shade Diamond Love. Now, this is from Collab, and I'm just going to apply this all over the lid to give it more of a wet look. With my finger, I'm just going to kind of tap it out like this to really get it to blend in with my transitional color. Following that, I'm going to go in with the next shade. This one is called Bronze Crush. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to pop it right here closest to the very outer edge of the eye look, like so. And I'm going to flick it inwards just because I do want it to blend with that color called Diamond Love. And then with my finger, I'm just going to pat everything together. Now, more or less, this isn't meant to be a super structured look. It's definitely meant to look like a wash of color all over the lid, so it definitely does not need to be perfect. Just use your finger to really just pat and blend it out. Going right back into that shade called Midwest, I'm just going to kind of flick it inwards and add a little bit more to the crease. Now, you can definitely stop here if you feel like this is subtle enough for you, but I'm going to go the extra mile, and I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Flower Beauty Warrior Glitter Eyeshadow in the shade called Blade directly over top. Then with an M124 by Morphe, I'm just going to kind of pat the glitter and move it around, just so that way it doesn't look like it's sitting all in one spot. So I'm going to add slight definition to the eyes. I'm going to pick up the shade called Apartment on a flat definer brush. This is an ABH A1, and I'm going to press it closest to my lash line to add slight definition. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want the look to remain soft and not so harsh. So going in with something like a liquid eyeliner or a gel eyeliner will cause it to look very, very harsh, and that's not what I'm going for. So I'm using a shadow instead. Now, if you notice, I am focusing majority of this shadow right here towards the very outer V, and then I'm going to take a fluffy brush and really just buff out the edges right here, just so that way it's not so harsh. Once I have that brown blended out, I'm just going to take a little bit of Midwest and pat it directly over top, just so that way everything looks like it's supposed to like melt together. So following that, I am going to go in with some mascara. I'm going to use the Milani Highly Rated Mascara. You guys know I've been loving this, like literally loving it. So I'm going to take a little bit of this and coat my lashes before I go in with falsies. So this is what my lashes look like with only mascara. Milani Highly Rated. I definitely recommend. You can pick it up inside Ulta Beauty stores. I saw it recently in the Milani display, so check that out. I am going to put on falsies. Even though I love my lashes like this, I kind of want to switch things up a little bit. So I'm going to use these Icon eyelashes in the style Gold, just because they are super beautiful and fluttery, and I think they are going to look amazing with this eye look. So I'm going to pop these on, and I will be right back. So I went ahead and popped on my falsies, you guys. As you can see, they're super fluttery, and I feel like they complement this look so freaking nice. And with that, I do want to do my post notification shout out of the week. So huge shout out to Mima V. She says, #SlayBay. Love you, Ashley. I love you too. Thank you for being a huge inspiration for me. I clicked on this video so quick. Notification squad. Thank you for being part of the Noto fam. If you guys are a part of the Noto fam, you guys want to be featured in my next video, all you have to do is turn on your post notifications, and also leave me a comment down below with the #SlayBays, and who knows, maybe you will be featured in my next video. With that, let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the face. Makeup Revolution just came out with this bad boy right here. This is called the baking oil. It's going to hydrate and prep for flawless makeup application, and it is meant to be applied right before foundation. So I'm gonna take the dropper and drop a little bit onto the skin and prep it, hydrate it for foundation. I will definitely say this feels super nice on the skin. It's very, very hydrating, and it smells like lemons. Like, if you guys aren't really into scents, you may not really like that, but honestly, I don't mind it. My skin feels really, really nice. For foundation, I'm gonna throw it back to using this guy right here. Now, I did use this in a video a few months back, and I didn't really care for the original shade I picked up, so I went to Ulta and I picked up shade F5, which should match me a little bit better. This is the Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. So right off the bat, I can definitely tell that this is probably going to be a better match for me than F8. I am going to use this big face and body sponge by Real Techniques. It does have a new look, so it is a new color, and I'm going to use this to blend out my entire face. Alright, so right now this is what the foundation looks like on the skin. This is about one layer of the foundation. As you can see, it's looking a little bit sheer, like it's not covering up all of my blemishes, so I am going to go in with an additional layer to build it up to full coverage. This is like a step in the right direction. I'm gonna go in with the Conceal and Define concealer and use this to highlight directly underneath the eyes. And the sponge I'm gonna use to buff and blend it out is this one by Wet n Wild. Just gonna bake directly underneath my eyes right now with a little bit of the brand new Banana Light Powder by Makeup Revolution. This is a really pretty powder. Normally I can't bake with a banana powder because it is too dark for my under eye area, so I'm really glad that they came out with a banana light shade. Like, that is pretty. You know what? I'm very, very interested to see if this powder has any flashback to it. So I'm actually gonna test it on my phone real quick. Holy flashback Mary. This is not the powder that you want. You know what? We're gonna roll with the punches and we're gonna keep it moving. I am gonna set the rest of my face down and in place with a little bit of MAC powder. This is the MAC Studio Fix Plus in the shade NC30. So I actually want to do another flash test to see if any of that MAC powder helped at all. So yeah, no, definitely a hard pass. Moving right along, I'm going to go in with this Ultra Blush Palette by Makeup Revolution. This is the Golden Sugar 2 Rose Gold Palette. Now, there are so many beautiful shades in here and so many beautiful finishes. Like, look at that pigment. Like, that is crazy. You can use this as an eyeshadow if you are of a deeper complexion. You can use this as a highlight, whatever it is that you want. Like, look at this champagne. Like, ooh, the pigment on that is unreal, you guys. So that is one of the main reasons I really wanted to pick it up. I also saw these shades right here, which will be really beautiful on the cheeks. Now, I don't have a bronzer from Makeup Revolution. All of their powder bronzer palettes were completely sold out, so I will be substituting with my Milani bronzer that I've been using in a lot of my videos recently. This right here is one of the new Milani Silky Matte bronzers in the shade 03 Suntan. So since I've already crossed the line of Flashback Mary, I'm just using that same Banana Light Powder directly underneath my bronzer per usual, and alongside the sides of my nose to clean up my nose contour. So I'm actually going to go into the shade right here. It is more so of like a bronzy shade, and I'm going to take it on a fluffy brush right here. This is by Smashbox, and I'm just going to kind of pop it onto my cheeks. Now, it does appear to be more so bronzy than like kind of peachy tone, but that's completely okay because I am going to lay one of these shimmery shades directly over top, and the shade I'm going to use is this one right here. That is really pretty. So moving right along, I'm gonna pick up this champagne shade right here, and I'm gonna use that as an actual highlight. So I'm not even gonna fake the funk. That didn't really go on as like beaming as I would have liked. So I'm gonna switch over to using this. This is actually a highlighting quad by Makeup Revolution. It's called the Face Quad Incandescent, and I'm gonna pop this on. So with that, I'm just gonna kind of dust away this bake on my nose. I'm also gonna take some of that highlight and pop it on the tip of my nose and down the bridge, because why not, honey? We wanna glow. I'm also gonna take it and pop it right here in the very inner corner. So now it's time to finish off the very lower lash line. I'm gonna pick up the shade called Midwest on a flat definer brush. I'm just gonna kind of push it right here on the very lower lash line to connect with the shadow on my lid. And again, this doesn't have to be too dark. You just want a nice wash of color on the lash line so that way it doesn't look bare. Then with an M507, I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of Midwest and just smoke it out and connect. I want the lower lash line to be soft, but I also want it to be smoky, which is why I am going in with an M507 to really just diffuse out the edges. I'm gonna pop a nude liner in my waterline just for shits and giggles and just to kind of open the eyes a little bit. This one is by Rimmel. It's one of my absolute faves. Makeup Revolution didn't have any lip colors on their shelves because they all got pulled because they were past expiration date. So I will be using this one by e.l.f. This is one of the liquid matte lipsticks. Not entirely sure of the shade name because it kind of fell off the bottom, but I'll figure it out and I'll have it linked for you down below. Now the matte lip looks beautiful on its own, but I definitely want to gloss this look up a little bit. So I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Lip Plumping Gloss directly over top. Now, I personally don't have an eye gloss, so I will be using an actual lip gloss. This is from Makeup Revolution. This is one of their lip toppers in the shade Exquisite. I'm going to take a little bit of this on the back of my hand, and I'm going to pop it directly over top of the glitter on my eye to give it more of a wet look. And last but not least, I'm gonna go in with the Makeup Revolution Pro Fix Fixing Spray to really just melt down all of this powder because my skin is looking a little dry. Whoo! Yes, honey. Yes. Alright, so this pretty much concludes my glossy eye look. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. I really wanted to create a very simple eye look that could be easily transitioned into something that was more editorial, which is why I added the gloss at the very end. I've really been wanting to do something like this for quite some time, so I'm glad I finally sat down and filmed it on camera for you guys. If you like it, make sure you guys give it a big thumbs up. Even if you don't like it, I'd appreciate it if you thumbs the video up. Okay. Anyways, I love you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Click that bell. Y'all already know. And I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces.